At ease, soldiers. It's the General here. Today, I'm going to talk about a game that was disappeared for a little while, but I think it deserves the General's attention. Here on Accessibility Army, I like to bring attention to indie titles because they should receive a lot of attention because a lot of indie titles do things that a lot of AAA titles won't bank on because the ideas are usually too original. This video will not be as accessibility focused on some of the other videos on my channel, but Atomic Heart is an interesting looking game and it really deserves attention. As you guys can see, this game takes heavy influences from BioShock. If you ask me, a lot of people, and you guys can sound off in the comments and let me know, but a lot of people see influences from Fallout here, and I guess in a way I also see a little bit of Outer Worlds, but the atmosphere and the aesthetic and the world itself very clearly takes inspiration from BioShock. As far as which BioShock, I would say it's probably the first one. But it's definitely doing its own thing. It's a shame here that he starts out with this big old cannon and we don't actually get to see what it does. So we don't know whether it's a machine gun or some sort of laser. But before I get sidetracked, going back to the world of this game, it looks very Rapture-esque. It looks like a Russian version of Rapture. I think if I can humbly give my opinion here, what we're looking at is what Rapture would have been had Andrew Ryan not emigrated to the United States. I don't know what year this game is set in, but the technology seems a lot more advanced than what we see in BioShock, since BioShock was set in the 40s. The technology was ahead of its time because Ryan had all the best, scientific and artistic geniuses, but nevertheless, I do also want to point out that a lot of people, I think, believe that this game is going to be a straightforward first-person shooter, and to be honest, guys, it doesn't seem that way to me. It looks like there's gonna be some RPG elements in here, and we don't really get to see much of how the gunplay works because he uses a lot of melee in this video, unfortunately. But it does look like there are alternate fires for weaponry because, as we'll see here in a minute, he's going to fire those blades that are on his weapon. I don't know what this weapon is called, and I can't really understand what is being said. I've watched this trailer before, and I don't understand what's being said, unfortunately, because it's in Russian, and I don't speak Russian, but this game looks incredibly different. It's not like anything I've seen before, and since I have a knack personally, I don't know about you guys, but the general has a knack for Russian history, and so I'm interested to see whether or not this is set in an alternate reality of the real world, or whether this is a completely fictional setting inspired by different types of sci-fi and things. But definitely a lot of BioShock, and the emphasis on melee that's being shown in this video actually reminds me a lot of Condemned that was on the Xbox 360. So I know that there's going to be a lot of choice, because in previous trailers they have shown how you can customize your guns and such. As you can see, a very grisly death here at the end of the trailer. I'm loving the creature design in this. This monster that is killing the player character here kind of looks like what it would be like if the Demogorgon from Stranger Things were made out of blood somehow. And as we can see, the game is it's now been officially announced that it's coming to next-gen consoles and PC. But to be perfectly honest, guys, I want to play this game in as much glory as I can. So if I'm going to play it, I would prefer to play it on PC. So hopefully my PC is strong enough to run this. If not, I'll be getting it on PS5, but either way, the General loves his indie games, and he's not going to miss out on this one. In terms of accessibility, I hope that the creatives at Mundfish have been watching the way the gaming landscape has evolved, and since there looks to be quite a bit of shooting in this game, or at least I hope, I don't know, because we know almost nothing about this game other than the fact that it is from a first-person perspective. But the reticle looks a lot cleaner than it does in the other trailers. The game in general looks a lot more polished. The graphics and the detail look amazing. But I do hope that the folks at Mundfish have watched the way the gaming landscape has evolved, and that if we are able to choose difficulties, which, as you guys can tell from one of my previous videos, that I will likely be playing this game on easy, because I'm going to enjoy every second of it, and if I can avoid frustrations wherever I can, I will. I hope that there is an easy mode, and my number one feature in terms of accessibility when it comes to first-person games like this one is almost always aim assist. Aim assist is always at the top of my list when it comes to accessibility and shooters in general, because I use a controller. I'm not a mouse and keyboard kind of guy. And I know PC gamers will argue day in and day out that PC gaming is the way to go because, you know, the precision of a mouse and keyboard is unmatched. And that's fine. If you want to use a mouse and keyboard and that's how you want to play, good on you. But I am a person with a motor function disability. My coordination is not as fast as other people. So I depend on aim assist to compensate for what my fingers can't do. Games like Borderlands, while they are great, are a lot of fun, but requires a lot of assistance from other players because Borderlands aim assist is honestly not that responsive. It makes the game difficult to play. But I'm getting off topic here, and the point is that I hope this game has a pretty forgiving aim assist because I don't know what difficulty this person is playing on, or even if there is difficulties, but their health looks to be pretty low, and they didn't take that much damage as far as I can see. The damage indicators are not that prevalent, which could cause a problem for people with visual disabilities, but this game is evolving and it definitely doesn't look the same as it did when we saw it 2 years ago or even last year for that matter. So they've clearly been taking feedback into consideration. Indications for when enemies are ready to attack you seem very good. However, the direction of which an attack is coming from is not showing up very clearly, as you can see here, because the game tends to fill the screen with blood droplets rather than tell you where your enemy is attacking from. So that's one thing I can see in terms of improvement and accessibility. And the other thing I want to talk about is there seems to be a little bit of a rapid button press when you get grabbed in order to escape enemy clutches, and I hope that there's an option to make that a button press as opposed to a rapid tap, because a long press would be easier for someone like me. And a lot of games have been doing that lately, and it has made it tremendously easier to be able to enjoy games that way. Jedi Fallen Order didn't have it, but I was still able to get past that game, even though the rapid taps were still rapid taps. So I hope that Mundfish has been watching the industry, like I said, and they've seen that accessibility features are now commonplace so that everybody can enjoy this game, because this game looks poised to be a successor to BioShock in a way. It's not going to be BioShock, but it's definitely doing a good job of getting my attention. And because it's an indie studio, it's going under a lot of people's radar. So the general's letting you know, look out for this one, because it's gonna be a hit. If it's not a hit when it comes out, it will definitely develop a cult following. And I know them when I see them. And this one looks unique. They look like they've got something special here. Now, I don't know if the studio involved in this is completely new, or whether the people that make up Mundfish come from other studios, but either way, they are clearly a talented group of people, so keep an eye out for this one. Platoon dismissed, and I'll see you guys on the next one.